Welcome. My name is Paula Rowe, and this is Global Unified Breathing. And this show is all about breath work, many different techniques of breathing, many different sequences of numbers, but it's more just about the breath and about the wisdom and the knowledge and the intelligence of the breath. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to breathe a little, but first we're going to talk about a few things. And we've been going through a series of 7 classes, and this week we're in our 5th class. And what we're doing is we're taking our breath, the power of our breath. And for those of you that are new, is the understanding is the breath is a direct connection. It is streaming in from source energy. It is the pure white platinum light love of our creator. And when we become conscious of just the sacredness and the holiness of the breath, everything seems to change because it means a lot more. Remember that breathing is taken for granted, and it is the first thing that we do when we enter into this world, and it's the last thing that we do when we're leaving this world and this body. So it plays a really important role, and it is a very ancient healing technique. And there are many different stories out there about breathing, as in the times of Egypt, where it was used to connect with source back then. They were aware of this intelligence, and you'll see the hieroglyphics that are on the inside of some of the pyramids about the energy of the breath. The breath was used to travel, which we do now because of the opening up the conscious and the superconscious mind through breathwork sessions, and also for healing, because what it does is it shifts the frequency of our frequency that we reside at in the inner chambers of this body. There's a frequency that's emanating out into the world, and when I consciously choose to breathing in and knowing that I'm breathing in the one breath, that we're all breathing and there's only one breath, and that it is a direct connection animating my body directly from source light energy, that brings about a different type of he, energy into it, just by knowing that, just by thinking about that, just by sitting and resting in the power of our breath. So today, when we're thinking about how we're going to have more tools in our toolbox right now to maintain a somewhat stress-free life. Or when we get into anxiety and panic, some of the tools that we can use to alleviate, shift our energy, raise our vibration, and open up the superconscious mind so that maybe we can get a different perspective on what's going on in that moment, besides the panic. Panic and anxiety normally take our breath away. Most people have a hard time breathing when that happens, and the central nervous system is activated, everything starts to feel a little haywire. Some people can't catch their breath at all and they need to stop. Some people just pass out. But also, there's post traumatic stress. And that's something that somebody lives with every single day, where there's an underlying current that the breath is being halted and stopped. And that's because that monkey mind, has grabbed a hold of something and it will not shake it loose. The breath helps pull those tentacles, those suction cups that are on that thought that might be 1 minute you're doing okay, and the next minute, all of a sudden, you're into a thought that totally can just clip you off at the knees. This is one of the things that breathwork has really changed for people who understand about conscious connecting breathing, because their responses and reactions in life are not as severe. And for some of us, they're not a reaction at all. It is a response to what the situation actually needs. So it could mean that normally I'm reaction mode, fight or flight mode. My reaction is my breath cuts the oxygen off to my brain, and now I'm really not thinking clearly, but I'm still feeling like the body is in the flight. So the body wants to do something. It wants to get up and it wants to start moving in the direction of getting this over with, out of the way, solved, and not necessarily through it. If it can find a way to jump over, it will. So in PTSD, we're really in a controlled breath. Post traumatic stress is where you learn about the peace of breath, the bliss breath. And right now, that's really necessary for most people, hopefully, to want and desire to connect stronger with the breath of God in them, so that they have this when they hear something that throws them off, or they're involved in something that is quite shocking, or things are happening in the outer world around them that just doesn't feel very good at times. And especially just to be able to know, oh, if I breathe through this, I'm going to manage, and I'm going to be able to handle this a lot more peacefully. And I know for me, it was really weird in the beginning that I found myself as I was processing energy that was so stuck in the body, because that's what breath work really was originally just for, is moving energy out of the body at the cellular level, so that you could free up this life urge that runs within you, instead of being layering things on top of each other. And hence, some of these things at the bottom of the cells go way, way back. So they really affect our decisions and how we deal with people in life, and our jobs and our relationships. And right now, we're entering into a new time that we need to take very seriously. These gifts, these tools that God has given us. He has given us our breath from the very beginning, and that breath alone can help me to stay in my body, really allowing my mind and my superconscious mind to open up and see solutions. And when I'm in a situation, see a solution. And I notice as the years have gone by, that is kind of how I function now, is looking for solutions when I'm even hearing about a situation or a problem, and my mind automatically just goes there, which is really, really a blessing and a gift. Instead of like, going and hiding out and getting under the covers and hoping it will all go away. It takes all of us to be on board. Everybody gets to be in the ship. So if we can all just have that desire to want to participate, God will bring his if we bring ours. And that is so true. When we become aware of the holiness and the sacredness that God is giving me this breath in this moment, right here, right now, to empower myself, to talk about the breath, to empower you to have a better understanding of your own breath. And that is what the mission is all about for this here now moment. So we've been working on trying to create a house, a sanctuary, a chamber internally. So this is like a place that sometimes when we do a visualization, we say, imagine, just imagine, use your imagination that there is a sanctuary. And I always used to imagine a cave like in the Himalayas, in the mountains. When you see those pictures of the mountains and you see the openings on the side of a mountain, you think, how did somebody get way up there? I've had many, many experiences in dream time and also in meditation where I'm just taken and I am sitting in the side of a mountain in the Himalayas meditating. What a beautiful place. So in the beginning there was always one that I had to walk down this from the top downstairs that went in all different directions to then work my way around to get into the inner chamber, into the side of that mountain. And when I would get there, that was such a sacred place. And it was like bringing yourself down into a self-hypnotic state where you can receive impulses from the breath. And if you're listening to something, a mantra or something, you're open to receiving it on many levels and layers, but also the way it affects our frequency when we then remember to be breathing. So when we use our imagination and we create this sanctuary, this is an internal place that is just between you and your creator. And right now, what we're doing is we're building a house and inviting the crystalline, Christed, pure light energy of the Christ consciousness to sit in the center of my being and to open myself up to receive the information. So I see it as a fountain where there is water and a wall of water going into the fountain. And I also see a fire in there in this sanctuary. So, all the elements, the earth is the cave, air is my breath, water and fire, and the ethers. So, if you invite all of that into the sanctuary as we're creating these houses, we're making this a special place. What makes something special to you that you would be able to invite the most holiest in to a sanctuary? What would you want it to be there awaiting for somebody that you had great reverence for? And maybe that is your Christ itself that you're inviting into your own inner sanctuary. It's you. It's you. It's you who are the Christed one. So, in order for us to create this space where we're talking about attributes of the Christ consciousness. Remember, we are the ones that are inviting ourselves and all of humanity and the planet as she up levels into a new frequency and vibration that we will match her and we will support her and she will do the same for us. So this week what we're going to be breathing on, and we're not doing any particular type of breath work. What we're doing, and we're not doing any kind of account. Everyone can participate in this. You do not have to worry because we're not going to speed it up and we're not going to trigger anything. If anything, we're going to feel strength from building into the inner chamber within us. So, what we do is we sit very calmly with our spine straight and we close our eyes and we go inside just to breathe, just to build on this in using your imagination. So you can just listen to the sound of my voice as I'm guiding you. And if you'd like, you can go back every Sunday prior to this for 4 weeks. We've been breathing in a different attribute. When we get to the seventh attribute, we're going to come together and we're going to breathe all of that, anchoring in the Christed energy into the sanctuary. So, if you'd like to join for that, you need to go to globalunifiedbreathing.com and just sign into the members page and let me know that you would like to be part of that. And I would be more than happy on that day to send you the link to gather in a group and to breathe all 7 of these attributes, making this vortex within the inner chamber of our high heart, holding the Christed energy within us, so that then we anchor this throughout the entire body, and now we walk with more purpose. So today, this particular attribute is discipline. So for some of you that have watched me before, you're aware that that is one of the attributes that the Maha Avatar Babaji from Harakan teaches. Love, simplicity, and discipline were the 3 things that he was all about. And this made quite an impact on my life when I was first introduced to this almost 33 years ago now, because I knew that I needed to be more disciplined. I was already meditating at that point, but I also desired, but I didn't know how. I thought, I guess if I taught myself how to meditate, which I did with an egg timer, starting off with 3 minutes, and it built into there. It took patience, is what it took more than anything. So, discipline is about where we come to the understanding that where are we, and do we need this attribute, and do we really can be honest enough to understand what this attribute really is all about. So today, with discipline, it's where we make the decision consciously to train ourselves to be changed, to obey a particular code of behavior. And this is no one else's code. This is our code. This is what we decide. To correct a disobedience, it's also, those are strong words. So remember, what I think is disobedient might not be what you think is. So we have to ask ourselves certain questions, and we need to act on regulating behaviors that are not disciplined. So, what we want to talk about today is if we are aware of any area or not that we need to be more disciplined in. We don't need to think of it like ruling with a stick, and if we have that memory, that's even more reason to breathe into discipline, what we choose to discipline. Of course, we want it to be number 1 rule for any of these attributes is it is good for the whole, for all of us. It isn't just what serves me. It's what is the highest thought in discipline, in action of discipline, that all of us can benefit from, not just one or a few. It's all across the board. So are we aware of where we need? So some of the things are overconsumption, greed, voraciousness, and greediness. These are some ideas of where, if we say we have that, then maybe we need to breathe into discipline today. So I'm going to start the music, and what I'd like you to do is just relax, breathing normally and closing your eyes, please. Take a deep breath. Knowing that we are infinite worth and that we are worthy. So first I'm going to bring in the energy Our intention throughout this breath is to create an internal house for the Spirit of the Christed One, the crystalline one, in the house of discipline. The purpose in God's sovereign free that we ask now ourselves to make a direct connection with the one living breath of God. This loving force within us, and we must turn our attention to and pray. Beloved God, we request in our hearts to pray to create the house for the Christed energy. Purify our mind, body, and heart for the spirit of discipline, and we request to dismantle the houses of ego, evict the imposter spirits, and replace them with the house of Christ. I state my authority and intention to be of service to the one true God and build a strong relationship with my spiritual inner light. Keep breathing. Nice deep breath. Seeing yourself encased in a flowing robe that feels like it's being placed around you. It's like a garment of silver light, and this light represents discipline. It wraps and surrounds your entire body with peace and love and joy and bliss, knowing you are more than worthy, knowing you are infinite worth. Nothing that you have ever done or will do can ever remove that from you. You are graced with the breath of God, and when you bring your full attention and you lean into this, lean to the right of God. Our entire body feels this quality of discipline, breathing it into the chamber, seeing the fire ignite and the waters move. Are you breathing God? God is breathing you. Are you remembering where you come from and how sacred you are? You are love beyond anything your mind can ever know, but your heart does. You're so blessed and so wise that you chose to be here at this time, in this space, on this day, on this planet, to say, I know I am. I am. I am that I am. Keep breathing, resting. Rest in your breath. Just rest. Let it feel like a cloud that you're just resting. Let yourself melt right into that breath. It's so nourishing and comforting. Sitting in the sanctuary, in the internal space, the sacred space that you are, inviting in the house, the attribute of discipline. I choose to discipline myself. I choose to know who I am and when enough is enough, because we're not being greedy and we're not being overly zealous or overconsumption. We're remembering that we are part of the whole. And what I give to myself, I give to you. Resting in the breath. Just resting, dear hearts. Breathe deeply into that chamber. Remember, we're not counting. We're just breathing. We're just breathing. The power of your own breath brings you home, brings you into the space internally where everything you need to know about everything that you'll ever need to know is right there. The breath is intelligent. The breath is wise. The breath flows into the upper chambers, into the pathways, opening the superconscious mind. Let go. Just let go with the breath. Follow your breath and rest, dear hearts. Lean in. Let go. You possess discipline now. This is a talent. It's a gift. It's an ability. And we now know this serves and honors all of us. It is the part of the oneness of the I am. Discipline. It's a natural attribute. Work on this week, dear heart. And remember, 3 times a day, set your phone when the timer goes off. Don't forget, stop everything. Sit if you can. Close your eyes, straighten your spine, and breathe consciously. Breathe consciously. Circular, easy, free breathing. It's not that difficult, but it will help to change your life. So that's what I'm asking you to do. And here it is. Next week, diligence. So this week we're working on discipline. Thank you. Get in touch with me, Global Unified Breathing. Thank you so much for joining me. Love you all. Blessings. And we all rise up.